All right. So last week we were talking about chapter 9, the spirit in sacred geometry, and we were talking about squares and circles and levels of consciousness. And then this week we're going to talk about the mystery schools and the left eye of Horus. So I try to get my head around this topic and kind of bring in practical knowledge of what he's saying here. And I was reflecting about my past 2 weeks, and I will share the analogies I did through my reflections, like through experience and this chapter. So remember, so for those listening after the fact, so for my past 2 weeks, they were like crazy busy. And then as soon as I got home, I was talking to Kachi about how I was unbalanced in a way that I was using too much of my male energy and little about my female energy. We were talking about that like a day before I read this chapter, and I was talking to Kachi like how I should go inside, how I should focus my attention back to myself to balance those energies. Because I was in the expansive mode, the doer mode, just do, get it done, get it done, get it done, super rational. And being aware of that was big for me because, once you realize what you're using more, you can start working to go back to your balance. So I think very interesting that I said that to catch you right before reading this chapter. And for me, this is kind of practical knowledge or wisdom from the teachings, understanding the female and male energy, understanding when you're using more one side versus the other, so you can remember to go back and balance that energy. So as Jungwoo talks about understanding the flower of life from the female perspective, he's talking about going inwards. So instead of expanding the movement outside, he keeps going inside of the flower of life, reproducing the fruit of life. And that's exactly at a consciousness level, at a mental level, that's what I wanted to do with myself to find my female energies. I was just expanding, 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 doing, then realize, okay, I'm unbalanced now. I need to go backwards. I need to meditate, meditate, meditate. Go inside, inside, inside. Breathing in the air of life so I could balance that energy again. And then John Bolu will make this movement through geometry, through sacred geometry, so we can understand the flower of life through the female perspective. For me, to be honest, that's one of the most important lessons of this book when we want to bring that to the practical side of the life, because there are a lot of theory, a lot of information that he learned from Todd. There's a lot of his experiences and some data, but what can we do with that? How can we apply that initiatic or philosophical knowledge in our daily lives? And for me, one of the main ones is understanding male and female and applying that on a daily basis. That that has an interesting link with going inside to understand what's happening outside. He mentions that the flower of life is holographic, meaning you can get a piece of it and reproduce the whole. Get a piece of it, get a piece of it, and reproduce the whole. And that's what the creator is doing with the reality. So it is true difficult to understand the whole universe, but I can go inside and understand myself. And that might be the best way to understand all of the exterior. And then I'm gonna make this analogy with the initiatic path in Egypt. So Drunvalo mentions the initiatic path and some of the initiations that was done in Egypt according to Thoth, and they are somewhat similar to what Matthias described as the Atlantean initiatic path and the Atlantean initiation. And what they were doing in those times is also to go, they would travel to a specific temple across the River Nile, so going along the River Nile from the south to the north, or from the upper part to the lower part, following the Kundalini path. So each temple would represent a chakra, and through that initiatic path, they would not try to understand, they would understand concepts by looking inside and understanding their whole bodies and their chakras. So they would have the first two temples that would relate to the foot and the knee, according to Matthias. So uh, that's not the main seven chakras. And then starting in the third, so the first two would be more for preparation, and then when they get to the third one, that would mean like the first, the first of the seven chakras, and also one of the seven laws. So as they go from the south to the north, they would start in the Komombo temple and they would understand the root chakra and then how that relate to the cause and effect. So they would understand their own chakra to understand a law of the universe. So that was one of the steps in that initiatic path. Then going up to the north, they would go to the next temple following this Kundalini path, then understanding their sexual chakra, they would also understand the law of gender. And then when I say law here, I'm referring to the Hermetic laws, the seven Hermetic laws. Then going up with polarity in the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the ego, is the separation. So understanding that chakra, they could understand another law. And then heart chakra, understanding the rhythm, going up to the throat chakra, understanding vibration, going to the third eye or the next temple of Sakwara to understand the law of correspondence, and finally the Giza pyramids and the crown chakra. That'll be um, the final step in that initiatic path to understand the mentalism, and that would actually drive to a reborn or rebirth, so they could do that again. And then for me, it's easier to understand from top to bottom So if you go back to the flower of life and how the creator or the consciousness, the spirit, is doing the consciousness movement, expanding it and creating, going to its boundary to create consciousness again. So crown chakra, mentalism, the universe is mental. So everything that exists is just an idea of the creator. So the creator dreams or have an idea or have a question, who can I become? And then it just create a whole universe. But then the universe is mental. Now I can see my idea and I can now the second law is borning because as within, so without. The creator is only seeing what what was inside of him. That idea that came from him, now it's outside of him. And as he can see, he will use the verb, the throat chakra, the vibration to create. Let there be light. Now he can see, he used the vibration to create. And then with vibration, it's going up and down through the vibration of the universe, the fabric of the universe, and we can feel it. Now we created something, we need to feel it. And with vibration, it comes rhythm, ups and downs, ups and downs. And then our heart is the symbolism of that. It contracts and expands, contracts and expand, contracts and expand. Meaning the ups and downs of that vibration that created the whole universe. And now we can connect with that rhythm of the universe that is constant, coming directly from the source. Creating that rhythm of the universe, that expansion and contraction, expansion and contraction. Now the spirit can experience polarity, which is in the solar plexus. It can finally divide itself to see the other perspective. So the first perspective is the perspective of the creator, and the second is the perspective of the creation. So the creator can see its own creation, while the creation needs to recognize the creator through experience, through data, through living. But then it needs to go deeper in that polarity and divide itself so it can experience both uh, sides of the energy or those sides of polarity. And then we have the sexual chakra, meaning the gender, meaning male and female. And now we can have duality being represented by male and female. And finally, going even lower to the root chakra in understanding cause and effect. And then we are at the level where the creation is separated from the creator. It can experience itself without knowing what it is. So through experience, one can understand what it is. And then it goes back through this path again. And that would mean the Kundalini path. And both Egyptians and Atlanteans, they would do this path across the river Nile to reconnect with that energy, looking for the path back to the source, to the creator, understanding who that person is and what it can become in 3D, in reality, in this world. And I want to link this with Drunvalu's experience in his initiation. He had a lot of teachings from Thoth. He had the tools to know when he was really feeling fear, when it was a real danger, and when he was creating that. And then going back to the path or the mentalism, he was creating situations the whole time, like the snake. He he thought he would see the snake, and that fear, that danger was not there, but he was feeling that. And then I guess another part of practicing what we learn here, is to understanding or to understand reality. Reality is not doesn't exist, but it is perceived. So it's not, it's just perceived because I can only perceive what I'm feeling with my five senses plus what I'm thinking. So my emotion may not differentiate between what I'm physically feeling versus what I'm feeling because of a thought. And for me, balancing those energies, male and female, be neutral to receive things as they are instead of try to control them. It is a big teaching of this book. I guess I closed the cycle there, catch it from male and female and back to male and female. And I think that's how I want to summarize this chapter for me, and like how I'm living those experiences and trying to apply the knowledge of the book. I don't know if you have any thoughts or comments or anything you'd like to bring up.
No.
Right. So let's do some Merkaba meditation.
Yes.
So sit in a comfortable position. Here. Close your eyes. Sit in a comfortable position. Your spine forward and backward, to the right and to the left. You can even rotate a little. Find your axis. Back to the divine love. To the love from Mother Earth. Feel the field. Back to the Creator. The love of the Creator. Connect yourself with your guides. Let's anchor their protection. Just anchor their love. I anchor my guardians. I anchor my healers. I anchor my star lineage. I anchor the ascended masters. I anchor the archangel. I anchor my higher self. I anchor the Great Spirit. All connected with that love, pure intention, protected by our guides. To the first mudra, first breath, golden tetrahedron, earth, tetrahedron, second breath, second mudra, golden tetrahedron, earth, tetrahedron, then tetrahedron, earth, tetrahedron, fourth breath, fourth mudra, golden tetrahedron, earth, tetrahedron, fifth breath, first mudra, golden tetrahedron, earth, tetrahedron, golden tetrahedron, earth, tetrahedron, seventh breath, fifth mudra, breathing in and feel a sphere of energy in your solar plexus and the pranic tube from the center of the earth to the center of the universe. Eighth breath, that sphere of white light grows bigger and bigger. Ninth breath, you become a pillar of light between heaven and earth. 10th breath, there is a sphere of energy surrounding you, and another one in your solar plexus. The light goes from white to golden. Feel this golden energy around you. 11th breath, Feel this golden energy. Velvet breath. 13th breath. Now you move that sphere of energy from your solar plexus to your heart center. You're connected with universal love. Here to do the 6th mudra. In the orifice in the next breath. 14th breath. Visualize 3 star tetrahedrons superposed around yourself. Male will rotate to the left, the female will rotate to the right. The neutral will stay still. 34, 21. Equal speed. Nine-tenths of the speed of light. Breathe in deeply. Your attention back to your body, back to here and now. In your fingers, bit by bit. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Are you with me, Gretchen?
Yes.
Anything to add before we close?
No.
All right. So that's it, folks. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.